Now we're going to install the pedal onto the Stander I. This is a 36-inch model, but all sizes would be the same. We're going to mount the pedal over on the left-hand side. This is a fairly small foot deck, and so it gives you more room for your feet if you mount it over here on the left. Use a couple of hex bolts up from the bottom. We run the bolts up from the bottom because this back one here is right against the frame of the foot pan, and it requires a hex bolt, and then you'll put the nut on top, which has a flange on it for use on the slot in the pedal. We'll go ahead and tighten up both nuts. Now before we show you the connection to the pedal, we're going to show you the routing. On the 36, the cable runs around the right side of the deck itself. We'll come over here to the right side, and then as we come up along the frame here, there's a little zip tie we use to hold it in position here. And it runs up between the outside frame of the mower and the motor platform itself, back to the pedal itself. Next thing we want to do is go ahead and connect our cable, and the cable is roughly laid in place where we want it to go. First thing we have to do is go ahead and remove jam nut number 1. So we're going to go ahead and spin that one off. And we also want to make sure that jam nut number 2 is mostly all the way back on the threaded fitting. Our spring is going to be disconnected, so we'll take that off. Now, we're going to lift this pedal up out of our way, put the wire in first, and then I usually just get the fittings started in a little bit so I can still reach in here and get the nut started. So you're going to want to get the nut started and put it on maybe a quarter inch or so, not too far on, because the other thing that you have to do is you have to get this rubber boot and shove it back in place onto the end of the cable. So it takes a pretty good push there, but you can get it seated back on. Okay, now once that's done, then we'll go ahead and spin the nut in the rest of the way. I'm going to just snug it up for right now. We'll have to remember to come back and tighten that up with a 1/2 inch wrench in a moment. Okay, now next thing we need to do is we need to take our clevis. We're going to slip our clevis onto the end of the wire. Once it's in place, then we're going to go ahead and put our 1/4 inch pin in on this end. And get that clevis in place. I'm going to go ahead and hook this spring to get it out of my way. It goes into this little catch right here. We're going to put our cotter pin in. Wrap the cotter pin all the way around.